So, okay. So, like I said, this concept is a concept that took me a while to understand, and then when I finally understood it and I got an understanding, nobody taught me. I didn't read up. I just on my own. I just did some research and I found out that, oh, so this is what normally happens in the market. It has actually changed my life. I won't lie to you, and it's going to change my life more. You know, it's a beautiful concept that when you understand it, it's going to change your financial life. But it's a concept that requires a lot of patience. I think I've shared it before, but what I'm trying to do today is I'm going to see how I'm going to share it in more in-depth manner. So basically, what the market does, if you look at this if you look at this Bitcoin page on CoinMarketCap, this cryptocurrency page, you see a lot of coins there. So, and like I always say, like I also taught in the course, in the crypto course, is that want to have two portfolio. You want to have two portfolio. To have for long term, and you want to have one for short term. Okay, the short term is the one you trade on a daily basis, just to sort out day-to-day activities. Probably you want to buy food in the house, just basic things, kobo and naira, and then basically your long term is the one you want to use to do things that make sense. You want to buy a house, you want to take your family on vacation, you want to take your wife and kids on vacation, you want to start a big project, you want to buy a landed property for an estate. I mean, there's somebody that I know through crypto money that has started a landed property, an estate. I'm not talking about 1 acre. I'm talking about someone that bought acres of land, money that they made from crypto. Those are the kind of money you want to use to buy those kind. You want to start that kind of project, and then it's basically a cycle. Okay, it's basically and this long-term holdings, you can achieve them by understanding market cycle. And I'm going to run you through different markets to let you know that this is not peculiar to crypto. It's something that is a concept that has been around for so long. As a matter of fact, it's a concept that has been around probably since time. And that's why the Bible says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest time remains. Okay. And this concept is what Joseph used in the Bible during the plenty. There was a time in the world, many years ago, thousands and millions of years ago, when there's surplus in the world, and then a king in Egypt had a dream, and Joseph was able to interpret that dream. And what Joseph did was, during that surplus, he was keeping some of that money, some of the proceeds, just some percentage of the proceeds that they are making, during the 7 years of surplus. And all over the world, the funny thing is, this concept, all over the world at that time, during Joseph's time, all over the world, it was a year of surplus. And every country there, everybody was just, they were having a nice time. There's no other country at that time that had that vision, that idea that God gave Joseph to build, what we know today as the Egypt pyramid, like a storage, something like a storage. So every other country in the world were just spending the surplus. They were just having nice time, but it was only Egypt, by the help of God through Joseph, they were keeping those surplus. What they were doing is that they were putting it in what is known as the Egyptian pyramid, and they were putting that surplus there to store it up, because they know that they were anticipating another 7 years of famine. And during that 7 years of famine, Egypt became the world power because whoever controls the money controls power. Just like the United States today, they say the world power because they have a lot of money, and the same thing is happened that time. So, and it will shock you to know that this same concept is the same concept that is happening in the market, where you have the years of surplus that sign that we call the bull season and the year of famine that we know as a bear market. I'm going to show you this concept in like 3 markets, and then we'll conclude with crypto also, so that you can see what I'm saying. Now, it's a concept that when you understand it, like I said, if you're in the paid group, I mentioned it. If in 10 years and if in 5 years, 10 years in the dark group, if you are unable to turn $1,000 to $1 million, probably something is wrong with you. And I'm going to walk you through how we are going to do it with the $1,000 from now, between now and say 2030. How you can turn that money to $1 million, $1,000. I'm going to show you. So basically, now let's look at the stock market. Now, like, don't forget, the bull season and the bear season is the year of surplus and the year of lack, year of famine. Now, the stock market, I'm going to be looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, what I'm teaching you tonight is what you rarely find anywhere. I've not seen anybody teaching this thing. Even me, I got it. I just got it by inspiration after a while, after a long time. Like I said at the beginning of this class, after about 12 years, nobody taught me. I was just looking at the market and I said, okay, this concept is a concept that has been and to forever be, if you understand it. Now, let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This we are going to look at the chart. Stock market cycle is a cycle. The stock market also has cycle. A lot of people don't know. This interactive chart shows the percentage return on the Dow Jones Industrial Average over 3 major secular cycles of the last 100 years. Please pay attention to this. The last 100 years. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can write on this thing. Okay, on the last 100 years. So this chart that we are looking at is for 100 years. Okay. So if I go down, you see cycle. See where they write cycle length in months. Okay. This cycle, you see that from here, all these figures, they are months. Okay. So this is 45 months, 0 to 45 months. And this is 90, 45 is 90 months up to 450 months. So if you do the calculation, you divide 450 by 12, that's going to give you like almost 37 or so. That's about 37.5 months. That's about 37 years, 37 and a half years. If you look at 450 months. So this cycle that you are looking at happened within 37 years. And the funny thing that this thing happened in all markets. I remember the last webinar that we had, and somebody I was making a reference to forex market, and somebody was saying that it is not crypto market. Why are we referencing forex? And I was like, it's the same thing, the same concept. It's human beings are trading. Now, let me explain this chart to you for you. So basically, what is happening in this chart is that you will see how the Dow Jones Industrial Average market, the stock market, the way it has been behaving for 450 months. Okay, and this has been consistent with this market for the last 100 years. That's a long time. That means for about a century, this has been going on. Notice that from let's say from 0 months up to 450, you see that the projection has been up for this month. It's been up. If I go back, it's been up, and for that 37 years, that's done 3,500%. If you look at my cursor. Now, I want you to pay attention to what happened here. After, let's say, 300 more, it peaked out at 1,500%, and then it crashes to 315. It crashes back to 500%, around 500%. Now, what most people normally do is that at this spot, they will jump out of the market. They will sell, and they'll be crying that this stock market is a scam, and they'll walk away, and then they'll start bad mouthing this market, not understanding what is happening in this market. Now, if you look at this market, if you look at, that what actually happened is that when it peaks out at this spot, from 225 months to this spot, we are paying attention to this place. Notice that from year to year, for about 225 months to 315 months, let's do the calculation. Let's say 315 minus 225. Okay, that is 90 months. If you divide it by 12, that is 7 years. That's about 7.5, 7 years, 6 months. It top out at this place from 500. Okay, 7 years. And then it crashes again to 500%. But most times people will jump out of the market at this spot. They will jump out because they don't understand that concept. But a smart investor, what a smart investor would have done is that they take profits at this spot. Okay, and then they start buying again at this spot. And then you see that when it crashes at 500%, after another about 3 years, it picked up again and then it went haywire all the way. But if you pay attention, you notice that even during bull season from here to this spot, you still have some dip, just like what we're having today in crypto. You still have some dip. For these 37 years, there are still some dip. Now, this is how the big boys play. What they normally do is that they take profit at the top and then they wait and then they buy. Now, I'm going to bring this to stock market, to crypto also, so that you understand it, how you can play the game. So, but before we go to crypto, let's look at another 10-year cycle. Now, what normally happens is that if you play in a particular market, you have to understand the cycle, because every market has a cycle. Every market, I don't care the market. I think I've spoke about this so many times. If you understand this concept, and I'm also going to explain how you can, with $1,000 in the next 10 years, how you can turn that $1,000 to about $1 million at least. I'm going to show you. So now this is for a decade cycle. Now the stock market appears to follow a 10-year cycle. Now this is talking about the US stock market, that it follows a 10-year cycle. I want to believe that those that are writing this, that wrote this article, they have studied that market. And I just like Fela used to say, if you are the song of Fela, he said, shoemaker, we don't know his work. Now waiting. Now so please, if you are hearing me, if I'm communicating, let me know. You can just drop a message in chat box. Let me know if I'm communicating. So, and if you are hearing me, please. So Fela call shoemaker that doesn't know his work a swagbear. The same thing with the market. Now you have to understand the concept of this crypto market. The cycle, because the market lives in cycle, and the big boys like Warren Buffett, and that's why if you notice Warren Buffett, the past how many decades now, he has been so consistent because he understands cycle. George Soros, if you know George Soros, also the forex trader, he has been so consistent. A lot of them, this is how they play, because they understand market cycle. Okay, now he's talking about the another stock market, the US stock market. The stock market appears to follow a 10-year cycle. During the first half of the decade, equity prices on average do not increase. That means in the first 5 years, you have the bear season. However, in the second half, they clearly do. That means in another 5 years, you have the bull season. Now, for the crypto market, we have 4 years, 2 years of bear season and 2 years of bull season. And we are still coming to crypto. I'm still going to explain how you can now take advantage of understanding the cycle in Bitcoin and crypto. Okay. Now for the US market, US stock market, it's 10-year cycle. 5 years of bear season and 5 years of bull season. Okay, just like the Joseph story I spoke about in the beginning, when I said Joseph understand, God showed him that revelation. 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Okay, so it's the same thing with trading. So those that understand the stock market in the US, they probably subsequently, probably another time, we'll do another webinar where I'm going to show you the stock market cycle. I'm going to show you clearly, and I'm going to show you by years, you understand it. And there's this concept in the US market. They say the US equity have demonstrated very good performance in years ending with the number 5. That most times when the year ends with number 5, the stock market in the US do very well. 1995 2005, that's 10 years, right? So it's a 10-year cycle. Now let's look at gold. I want to also show you this concept in the gold market, so you know that this is how market plays. look at the gold market. Let's go to monthly cycle, to the monthly chart. I'm on the monthly chart on the gold market, and this gold, I'm actually showing you gold now. Now look at this gold market. From 2005. Come on, let me trying to get this chart clear. Now from 2005 to 2000 from 2000, this is around 2006, sorry, to 2011. That's about 5 years. Gold market was experiencing what I call what we normally call the bear season. Market was just crashing. And the gold market is a 1,000 years market, thousands of years. It's been here for so long, and it's not going to go away very soon. So you can see that it crashes for that long, and then another from 2011. If you can see my chart from 2000 it crashes from 2006 to around 2010. That's about 4 years. Then from that 2010, it peaked again for another 4 years. Look at it from 2010. Let me get from 2010 to 2014. That's another 4 years. You see that it peaked again. Then it crashes from 2014 to around 2020. That's another 6 years. So, and then it's picking up again. So this is the gold market. Now let's now look at the crypto market. Now the beautiful thing about the crypto market is that we are still very early. We still have a market that is just $2 trillion. So whoever is coming to the crypto market right now is still very, very early. And like I always say in the group, for the past 12 years, Bitcoin pattern has been very, very consistent. I'm also going to show you in a chart. It has been very, very consistent. Now, the reason why I'm showing this concept tonight is so that you can understand this concept. If you understand it, and you are taking action, forget it. At least in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, you should be able to hit $1 million with $1,000. I'm going to show you a particular coin that follows Bitcoin market cycle that you can do it easily. And it's every coin that follows. And you know, Bitcoin is the one leading this market. So we are going to look at we are going to look at the Bitcoin chart. But before we do that, I do want to explain something. Now, cryptocurrency market is a 2 trillion market, so it's still very, very small. How much is the richest man in the world worth? This man, Jeff Bezos, I think is worth about 2 trillion. So imagine one person. So that means we are still very, very, it's a very young market. Okay. So in the next couple of years, 5-10 years, the crypto market should be worth about, say, $50 trillion. So you can see that we are still very early. And this concept has been playing out in Bitcoin for the past 12 years. Let me show you in the Bitcoin chart. Now, in this chart, I'm going to drop this chart in the group so that probably you can print it and post it on your wall so that you can follow it. So look at in 2012, there's an alpha. And the way Bitcoin works, it's the same thing the Dow Jones Industrial Market has been working. It's the same thing, the same concept. You will notice that as price rises and we're having dip, you always notice that price doesn't always go back to the low, to zero. See that it's 500%. After about 315 months, the Dow Jones Industrial Average didn't go back to the 0%. It didn't go back. But rather, it keeps going up. So the same thing Bitcoin has been doing the past 12 years. Now, I think I've explained this concept in the page, but I'll explain it again. Normally, what normally happens is that when Bitcoin top out, when it tops out like this, if you can see my screen, it doesn't normally go back to where it's coming from, where it was 4 years ago. And the Bitcoin market cycle is 4 years, 2 years of bear season and 2 years of bull season. Okay, so that means it peaks out, and they normally start rising during alpha. For those of you that have joined the group, if you have been in the paid group since last year or 2 years ago, please just drop it. Let me know in the chat box. Okay, you notice that last year, around that March, I started talking about Bitcoin alpha, and then I started talking about that people should position themselves and start buying some coins, because we are going to have a massive move. Because normally Bitcoin normally moves up doing this halving. Now let's look at 2012. In 2012, Bitcoin was around that $6. After halving, it went all the way to $600. Okay. Then during BSCC, you notice that during BSCC is where you have all these red candlesticks and this red chart. It came down. It came down to around $200. Notice that it didn't go back to $6. Okay, it never went back to $6. Okay, so then another halving happened around 2016. Okay, we had another halving around. Then it peaked. Then it took off from $600, went all the way to $19,800. You can see my chart. Then during BSCC in 2018 up until 2019, you can see 2018 to 2019, it came. Price came down to around that $3,000. Okay, then we had another halving last year, which was around May. We had another halving in May, and then price went all the way from around that 3,500 to 64,000, and then we are ranging around 47,000 now. Now, so the idea is, when price peaks out, you want to take profits. Now, the projection for Bitcoin for this year is around $100,000. Remember, I dropped a video in the group. Was it last week when I was talking about when I will start selling my coins? I said I would start selling when by December into January, because I know that by next year we are going to be having massive crash. So what you want to do is that by end of the year, if you have been holding some coins, I know some people that have been holding coins since last year, want to start selling them, and then you want to start converting your money to stable coin, so that because we know that market will crash. Now, the projection is that Bitcoin should go to around $100,000. Okay, and then if it follows this pattern, which I believe is going to follow the past 12 years, this pattern has been consistent. Okay, we expect that Bitcoin should come to around that $21,000, $22,000 after it has peaked out around that $100,000. So it's at that spot you will now want to start buying coins again, because when Bitcoin crashed to $20,000, you expect other coins like Link or other altcoins like Ethereum to also crash. That's when you now want to start buying. If you go and look at, I don't have time tonight to show you Ethereum chart. Probably look at Ethereum some other time. But because we know that Bitcoin is the one that leads crypto market, so we are going to focus on Bitcoin. If you go and look at Ethereum also, you are going to see the same thing like this chart. You are going to see exactly this chart with Ethereum too. And you are going to see that this Ethereum is also bullish during Bitcoin halving. Okay, so now Bitcoin should top out around that, say 100,000. Let me show you a guy I want everyone to go and follow on Twitter by the name by Plan B. This guy has been so consistent for some time. I mean, his price prediction has been top notch. I think I shared this chart on the WhatsApp group. So and this guy has been calling a price for Bitcoin. In August, he said Bitcoin should do 47,000, and it is 47,000. September 43,000. He actually closed out at 43,000. October is now, he's saying at the end of October, you should see Bitcoin at 63,000. At November, we should see Bitcoin at 98,000. At December, we should see Bitcoin at 135,000. Now, let me tell you what this means. Now, by December, when you are seeing Bitcoin around 100,000, this is where a lot of people will now start jumping in. But you that you have been a trader, that you have been around crypto market, you don't want to wait though. Don't wait till December before you start buying. Though. If you remember 2 days ago, I spoke about coins that you should start buying. And as of today, you see that price has started going up. So you want to start buying now. So that by December, when people are jumping in at 100,000, you are selling. You are dumping on them. Don't go and start buying in December. Don't wait. Please. A lot of people will start buying at December because they will wait. And these are people we call noobs, people that don't know anything. They just, because probably they hear on CNN that Bitcoin is now 100,000. They listen to AIT or channels. and they saw the news, and the next day they want to start buying. But they didn't know that some people have been buying since 43,000. Imagine people have been buying since 43,000. So it's at this time that you have a lot of money jumping into the market. Now look at what crypto market did today. In other 3 hours, it went from around 43,000 to 47,000. So you are going to see a lot of this towards the end of the year. In 2017, Bitcoin went from $2,000 to $19,000 in less than a month. Around that December into January. And by February, it started crashing. So at this spot, this is when you now want to start taking profit, and then you now want to wait. Now, from the projection that Plan B did, by the next halving in 2024, you should the next bull season, Bitcoin should top out at around $1 million. By 2028, Bitcoin should top out at $10 million. Now, as a trader, what are you supposed to do? Like I've explained, you want to start selling at the peak of the market and waiting. And when you are taking your profit, don't eat all the profits. Don't forget Joseph's story. Egypt was the only country that had a storage where they are keeping during bull season, during surplus. They are putting some percentage of their surplus in a storage, so that during famine, when the whole world when there's no money everywhere and there's famine throughout the whole world, they were the only person that had resources. They had reserve, so they can sell to those people. So everybody was coming from, every human being on the face of the earth, we're going to Egypt to buy. So that's what turned Egypt to world power. Now, the mistake a lot of traders does is that during bull season, when they have made so much money, they will now start buying what they don't need. That's when you see somebody buy 5 cars. Somebody will now have 10 houses. There's nothing wrong with having those things. But if you don't have reserve to start buying when market crash, then you're a foolish person. Now, let's look at before I start taking questions, let's look at ADA. I want us to look at ADA with $1,000. ADA last year around March, when Celestine, are you in the house? Celestine, if you're in the house, let me know. I can just drop a message. Those are the people I can remember that they were joining us during that period around March. Then Broinka, if you're in the house too. When we started buying ADA, this coin, when we started buying ADA. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I see you. How much did you buy? How much you started buying Cardano last year? How much did you start buying? Just drop your chat. I'll soon, when I'm done, I'll take questions. So I want to show you ADA as a coin with $1,000. How can you in 5 years, how can you make $1 million with ADA? Oh, 12 cents. Okay. I remember I started asking people to buy ADA last year when ADA was around 8 cents or so, or 10 cents. Let's even say you are buying ADA at 10 cents. Let's say you have $1,000. So, sorry, let's say $1,000. Let's do calculation. Let's say $1,000, right? And then you start buying it at 10 cents. Okay, that's with your $1,000. You have gathered 10,000 coins. Okay, if you multiply that your 10,000, right, at this rate, as today's rate, that's 2.25. That's 22,500. Don't forget you started with $1,000, and in about 1 year plus. Okay. Now let's my projection for ADA by December is around $5. Okay. Let's be conservative. Let's say because Cardano has done $3 this year. Let's say by December we see Cardano at $5. Okay, because when Bitcoin hits $100,000, forget it. Every other coin will go haywire. You can write it down. If you are new to the crypto market, just take a pen and write it down. When Bitcoin hits $100,000, forget it. Every other coin, they will go mad. Because what normally happens is that a lot of people, I think I've explained this concept. When Bitcoin hits $100,000, because there will be a lot of media hype. CNN will carry it, Sky News will carry it, BBC will carry it, AIT will carry it, Every news media all over the world will carry it. So what normally happens is that new people that want to now buy Bitcoin, they will not be able to afford it at $100,000. So what they normally do is they'll come to the market and they'll be looking for coins that they can buy at a cheaper price. Most times they don't even want to know what that coin is doing, and that's why you see that useless coin during bull season, they will be doing crazy returns. Because noobs, we call them noobs, new people that don't know anything about crypto, they will now be pushed, they will now get money and they'll be buying any coin. They'll say, Bitcoin has done $100,000. Let me buy this coin, it's cheap. And that's why you see that coins will go crazy. So let's say Cardano does $5 by December. Okay. So and then you have bought 10,000 Cardano with $1,000. So that means 5,000, 5 by 10,000. That means now you have $50,000, right? By December. So what you want to do is you want to cash out this $50,000. Let's say you cash out this $50,000 and then you flex. Of course, a worker. I mean, they say where you they work now there you they chop. I mean, that's why they call them work chop. So of course you want to flex some money. Let's say you flex 20,000. Let's even say you flex 25,000, and then you are left with $25,000. Let's say you bought a car, you bought a land, you started a bidding project, okay. And then by bear season, don't forget that normally, when a coin is crashing, it doesn't crash below the previous all-time high. I've shown you with stock the same thing. With Dow Jones, with gold. Look at gold. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's the way it is. It will not go below where it started from. Now, let's say during bear season, ADA now crashes to say $1. Okay, say $1, and then you have $25,000. That means you now bought 25,000. That means you use your 25,000 to buy ADA. This is an example. I'm just using an example. So use your 25,000 to buy ADA. So now you are holding ADA at 25,000. If ADA go for $5, don't forget that the previous all-time high is $5. So the following year, after the bull season in 2024, from 2024, you have ADA at say $20. Because normally quadruple the price it was before. Okay, let's say we are conservative. ADA is now $20. If you multiply your 25,000 by 20, so what you are going to be having is $500,000. That's in about 4 years. I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen, and I'm talking from personal experience. And I've seen some of the people in the group that have had this experience. You want to imagine what? Don't forget that the crypto market, like I explained, is a 4-year cycle. I don't know in the next 10, 20 years, it can increase to another 5 years or 10 years. But for now, it's a 4-year cycle. That's why you want to start taking advantage of it now before everybody starts jumping in. Don't forget that I said that we are still very young. This market is just a $2 trillion market. Okay. So by 2024, when the market peak and ADA is $20, you are already at $500,000. Okay. And that's just in 4 years, right? Let's say your equity is now $500,000, and then you flex some money. Let's say you are now left with 300,000, or let's half it. Let's say you are now left with 250,000. Let's say you started a project, you started an estate, bought a lot of land that you are selling part of it, and you left with $250,000 in stable coin, right? Now, and then ADA crashed from that $20 to say around say $8. Let's even say $10. So in another bull season in 2028, okay, in 2028, that's 7 years from now. Let's say ADA went from $20 to $50. So your 250,000 times multiplied by 50 give you $12 million. This is very possible. This is very, very possible. So this is understanding market cycle. Don't forget that this is not going to happen overnight. This figure is never going to happen overnight. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of discipline, which a lot of people don't have. And that's why when they asked Warren Buffett that, how come you have been consistent for the past 50 years? He said a lot of people don't have the patience to wait. And let me shock you. The funny thing is that whether you have the patience to wait or you don't have patience to wait, time always passes. Time always passes. My first daughter is 8 years old. I mean, sometimes when I look at her, it was just like yesterday that we had her, 2013. Today she's 8 years old. But whether you are playing crypto markets cycle or not, whether you are doing the cycle or not, time will pass before you open your eyes and close it. Don't forget that this calculation is a 8-year calculation. That means two crypto cycle. Don't forget that each cycle is 4 years. So your $1,000 is the return in about 8 years. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of patience, and that's why I always say try and get hardware wallet. And I always laugh. Some of you pay 20,000 for a deposit for hardware wallet. That hardware wallet, some of them are still sitting in my office. I think we still have some in the office in Lagos, and a lot of you don't understand this concept. But that's why I always laugh. A lot of you still feel that we are playing. Well, some of you, if you want to play, fine. But for me, I'm not playing because I understand that you will not always have this kind of return with crypto. In the next, when the market cap hits like $100 trillion, you won't be having this kind of return in crypto again. I'm telling you, in about 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years, you won't be having this kind of crazy returns in crypto. So this is the best time for you to take advantage of it. If you don't, you will cry. So like I always advise, try and get the hardware wallet where you'll be keeping your long holdings. For short-term trading, you can be using probably Royal Q, or even if you want to trade manually. But for long-term trading, I've been saying this over and over and over again. If you have listened to my course, my video course, to my crypto course, where the money is in long-term hold and understanding timing, understanding market cycle, like I've explained today. When you understand market cycle, you understand when to sell your crypto at the peak, and you wait for market to crash. Bitcoin always crash 80%. Crypto market always crash as much as 80-90% sometimes. Ethereum was selling for in 2018 at the peak. Ethereum was around I think around 3,000. I can't remember. I think around $2,000. I can't remember the price. But during bear season, Ethereum crashed as low as $150. I remember last year in March, I was telling people to go and buy Ethereum at $150. Now Ethereum is $3,000 already from $150, and the projection for Ethereum by the end of the year is around $10,000. That's an insane return. So this is the best time you want to start playing this cycle. So I'm going to take 3 questions, then we'll call it a day. Probably the next class, I'm going to be talking about Ethereum. I'm going to explain Ethereum market cycle. There's an Ethereum chart that looks like this. I'm going to share with you so that you understand what I'm saying. So if you have a question, just oh, thank you, Celeste. $86, right? God bless you. I remember I started asking people to buy around $150. I think I started doing dollar cost averaging on Ethereum in 2019. Ethereum at $120, and I'm still holding those Ethereum. If I show you some of my, I'm still holding those Ethereum. The Ethereum I bought at $120, I'm still holding them till now. I'm still holding some of them till now. Yes, you can sell. Okay, if you have any question, okay, Mr. BC, I've seen you. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Mr. BC, can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alala, for the wonderful and comprehensive information and presentation. Thank you very much. I think the only challenge that I can say I've seen so far is when to sell. Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you normally tell us, yeah, buy. Yes, you do that regularly, but when to sell is the issue. And oftentimes I've seen market crash on me as I mean personally. So that has been my own major challenge, in this whole thing. Thank you.
Okay, Okay, thank you. So if you are listening to me long enough, you notice that I always say that for me, probably because of my mindset, you know, Otuba always say people should sell. But for me, like I said, I'm still holding some Ethereum at $120. The one I bought at $120 because I know that the market has not top out yet. So, and it's been 2 years plus that I've been buying Ethereum. I've been doing dollar cost averaging for Ethereum. I started buying Link at $1. And and although I've cashed out some, but I'm still holding majority of Link that I started buying. I've not sold those some. I've not sold like about 70% of my chain Link. And that's why you see that in the group, I always say buy a good coin that has a good fundamentals. So that when market crash, it will still go back up. At a point, Ethereum chain link crashes from around that $50, I think, around May when we had a lot of crashes to around it crashes to around $15 if I'm not mistaken. Right now it's $26. Now market is going to top out around December, so I'm going to advise everybody that around November, December, January, start taking profits. You can start taking profit around that November, even October or November if you enter early. If you buy Cardano at 10 cents now, and the Cardano is already $3, you can start selling some. Probably if you get what I'm saying. So, but by December, January, you should by December, January, I'll sell say 90% of my holdings. Probably I'll just leave some Bitcoin and Ethereum just for them to be playing probably somewhere. But I would have sold out around 90%. Then I'll be waiting for next year where we'll be having massive crash. Imagine Bitcoin doing 100,000 and they're crashing to 20,000. That's the time you want to start buying. So Uncle Ige, let me have you ask a question.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
As usual, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Just a few quick questions, which is also based on what everybody else is asking. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and he said there's a way you can set a parameter that's going to be like automatic, but setting, like what we do in Royal Q. Like, okay, if it goes up, hold it or sell it, and when it dips, sell at a certain point. Is that really possible?
Yes, possible. If you're holding the coin, the coins on say Binance, for example,
yeah,
and you can set your buy limit price. I'm not on. I didn't log into any exchange. I would have showed you. But on your Binance, let's say you buy Binance at let's say you buy Binance coin last year when we started buying Binance at $9. I say I have some Binance I bought at $9. Let's say you bought at $9 and then you want to sell at say $200. You can set your buy limit at $200 and leave it. So when market hits $200, it sells. Your Binance is there. Probably I'll do a YouTube video. But if you go and watch that video course, I think I explained it's there too. It's there.
Okay. And the second question.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you can reach your second question, sharp. I've already reached you.
Sharp. What exchange will you recommend those mostly to use to buy whatever we're trying to buy? And again, you've been making mention of Cardano for a long time and some other coins. If, for instance, now, if I have $1,000, will you suggest I split that $1,000, or will you just say, you know what, just put that $1,000 on Cardano alone? What's your take?
Okay, thank you. So for Cardano, it's not. I'm just using Cardano as an example. I'm not saying that everybody should go and buy Cardano now because Cardano is almost topping out. But I'm just making an example that last time when we started buying Cardano. But if you have $1,000 during bear season, for example, during bear season, what I always advise that don't use that money to buy coin. Although $1,000 is a small, right? But you can spread it around. Say good coins. Let's say $200 each coin. Let's say 5 coins. Because the reason is there's something we call hedging trading. In hedging, what you're doing is that you are buying a particular asset you are buying a couple of assets, some couple of assets to edge against the other, so that in case this one doesn't do very well, this other one will do very well. Okay. For example, if you look at Chainlink went from $1 to around 50 something dollar at its peak. And at the end of the year, I'm expecting Chainlink to do $200. So if you look at from $100 to around $52 or $50 that we had Chainlink, you see that it has done more percentage rise. If you look at it, let's do a little calculation. You see that let's say use your $1,000 to buy Chainlink. $1,000 to buy Chainlink, and then you buy at $1. That's 1,000, right? That means you're buying 1,000 coin. If you multiply that 1,000 by 52 at the peak, or let's say 50, that's $50,000. So, but if you do that same $1,000 to buy Cardano at 10 cents, so at 10 cents, sorry, that means you'll be having 10,000. So if you multiply by at its peak, let's say Cardano peak out at 5, that's 50,000. It's almost the same thing. So, but like I said, it's good that if you can spread your investment so that you just want to hedge against the other. Okay. So let me see if I can. I think there's whoever. Okay, I'm having ARS. If Mr. ARS, then I'll take Celeste and I'll take one more person and then we'll put it again. Mr. ARS.
Yes, sir. God bless you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for the knowledge that we are.
Oh, that's Mr. Sonny.
My question is, it looks like him.
Okay.
Like
Sharp.
Okay. Please, my question is this: you've been saying Odin. Now, if someone buy, maybe you have a coin now, you probably buy the coin at $20. Now, during that December, the coin now hits $80. Are you suggesting, or Odin? I want you to differentiate why for long time and Odin. Now, are you suggesting or advising the person to sell the coin, then now wait till January or February when the coin is going to crash and buy again, or we just continue holding, see it at $80 and crash back to $10?
No. I don't always advise you should. Now, normal. So some people like I think I saw a chat. Probably I'll share it to the group. There's a guy that said he bought Bitcoin at he's been buying Bitcoin at around $10 and he has not sold anything. So there's no two way to play the game. It depends on your personality. Remember, your own personality, it's actually dependent on you. But for me, the way I play the game is that because I understand crypto market cycle, because I understand the cycle, and that's the same thing I've been saying since. If you understand the cycle and you understand when market will peak, I think it's wise for you to sell majority of your holding, because it's normally traumatizing for you to buy a coin at $1 and that coin does $100 and then it crashes back to $5. I mean, it's depressing. And then if you remember since last year, I always hammer on coins, and then you can't do this concept for every coin, please. So I need to say this: don't go and buy, like for example, look at Jude now. I mean, that's a very useless coin. So you remember in the crypto course, that video course, I mentioned that pay attention to the at least go to CoinMarketCap and pay attention to number 1 to number 30 coins. Those are coins you want to buy for long term that you can play this concept with. Not every coin. Some coins, when they crash, they don't come back up again. So you need to understand the fundamentals of that coin. The reason why I bought Ethereum at $120 and I'm still holding, because I understand that Ethereum has a very good fundamental. Chainlink, same thing. Cardano, same thing. So many other coins that you can look at. Binance, I started buying Binance at $8 last year when I started asking people to buy, because I know that they have good fundamentals. It's not every coin that you can do like this. So please don't misquote me. I'm begging you. Don't go and buy one useless coin. Don't go and buy Jude and be telling me you want to do long-term hold. Please. It's not every coin. There are some established coins that have very good fundamentals. Their volume is massive. If you look at Binance, Binance is one of the has crazy volume. Yesterday, Binance was just yesterday or 2 days ago, Binance was just $324. And if you look at Binance volume, daily volume is mad. Now look at your daily volume, $2.1 billion. So these are the coins you want to play this kind of game with. There are coins that you want to buy, and then the concept of buying to hold is a concept that when you buy a coin on an exchange, let's say on Binance exchange, don't leave it on the exchange. Push it to your hardware wallet so that you don't be tempted to sell. The Ethereum, the Chainlink I bought at $1 is not on the exchange. You won't see it on my exchange. So my hardware wallet somewhere, because I know that I want to hold it for long. Solana is also a very good coin. Solana is also, I mean, during bear market, don't worry. Like I said, the group, the WhatsApp group, this group that you are in is not for kobo. You are not joining crypto course. This crypto course because you want to buy bread and tea or bread and butter. The kind of money I want to see people making in another 10 years, and that's why I always say this is a marathon. So you have to calm down. You have to really carry mats and sit down, carry chair and sit down. You have to sit down and calm down. If you understand what I'm saying, it's a long journey. It's a 10-year journey. It's a 20 years journey. So that in the next 20 years, in your portfolio, you're having $15 million. You're having $20 million. So you want to stay with coins that have good concept. You don't want to be jumping everywhere. So coins you want to pay attention to. But imagine if you see Binance. The projection for Binance by the end of this year is around $2,000, $3,000. So Binance is still a very good buy at this price. So imagine Binance top out at $3,000, and at the bear season is crashing to say $100, $200. You will buy again now. So to answer your question, Mr. Sonny, you want to take your profit at the top and then you wait. Okay, I'm going to drop this chart on the group so that probably you can print it out. Somebody, because I have it printed out. This chart, I have it somewhere that I always check it. You can print it out and paste it somewhere, probably in your study group, your study room, so that you can be following it. Okay. So I'll take 2 more questions and then we'll call it a day. Celestine, please make it quick.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. You mentioned at the earlier stage of the Zoom that there is a coin you will drop for us, or you tell us about.
Yeah. I was talking about Cardano. I said I would use a coin for an example. Cardano I was talking about. I said with $1,000 you can do very well with it. Okay. Yeah, I use Cardano as I just said I would use a coin as an example. I didn't talk about another coin.
Okay, sir.
Dokumoya, sharp. Last question.
Thanks for the class. For me, I got into this crypto game as a hodler. So for instance, my Bitcoin I've not sold at all. I don't even bother my head about whether the market drops or it doesn't. But with what you're saying now, I'm going to have to do a rethink. But then if the market drops and then it doesn't drop to the point where, for instance, if assuming that I bought Bitcoin at say like 10K, for instance, it gets to a peak and then it drops to like 15K, and at the peak and buy again at 15K. I have this mindset that it didn't get to the 10K that I bought it before. So I've not really wrapped my mind around that yet.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I think just number one, I don't see Bitcoin coming to 15K. If you have been listening, and I've showed it across market, not only crypto market. Price normally for assets doesn't normally go back to zero, or doesn't normally go back to lower than, except I don't know, maybe there is a war. But if you look at the Jones industrial average, this market is an 100 years old market. It's an 100 years old market. So and it has maintained that same concept. So and like I explained during the course of this webinar, I said most times what Bitcoin normally does is that during bear season, when it crashes, it doesn't crashes, it will not crash below the previous all-time high. For example, in 2013, when we had Alpha in 2012, Bitcoin peaked out at around $600. Okay, it peaked at around $1,000. It did not come when we had another Alpha in 2017. It didn't come below that $1,000. It went from $1,000 to $19,800. Same thing in 2012 when it peaked at around $60. It didn't come to that $60. You can see on the chart. It came to around $200, then it went up. Now coming to your question, now there are two concepts. There are two school of thoughts about Bitcoin, and there are some people, they call themselves Bitcoin maximalists. Bitcoin maximalists. If you go on Twitter, you see all of them there. They believe that they are not going to sell their Bitcoin, which is fine. and then if you look at the way Bitcoin has been behaving, true. If you bought Bitcoin at $200, you are still in massive profit. If you didn't sell at all, Bitcoin is around 47,000 and it's still going to 100,000. Projection is like in 10 years, you should become $10 million. So that means they will still keep being profit, right? But and the other school of thought, which me am part of, is that psychologically, as a trader or as a hodler, it's the psychology effect of seeing your money crash from. Imagine you buy one Bitcoin at $60, and then it went to $43,000, and then it now crashes to $20,000. That psychological effect it's what me I don't like. That's my own personality. So you can buy to hold and hold for as long as you can. And that means if you don't care how that fluctuation is affecting the market. But for me as a person, what me I always do is that when it peaks out during bull season, I cash out as much as I can, and then I wait for another halving towards halving year. Then I start buying again. That's the way me I operate. But there's nothing wrong with the way if you say you want to just hold for as long as you can. There's nothing wrong with it. So but like I said, this concept works for coins that have good fundamentals, not anyhow coin. You're not gonna be buying anyhow coin and you say you want to hold for 10 years. If you look at the coin market cap, there are some coin that in 2000 and you see they were first 20, 2010, 2012. Like now, you can't even find them on coin market cap again. They are gone. There are a lot of coins like that. They are gone. Polkadot was never even top 10. 2013, 2017. Solana was not even there. So you don't want to go and buy a coin that will see again in the market. So that's just it. So I think we'll call it a day. So I don't know. We'll call it a day. Yeah, we spent like 1 hour. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload this on YouTube, and then I'll ask you to. Then from there, you can